Well, Eric Dombach here at the Coach's Coach, and welcome back to the $1 Million Business Coaching Firm interview series. And today I have with me Terri Levine. Terri, are you there? And can you hear me?
I'm here. I can hear you, and I'm glad to be with you.
Oh, it is so great to have you. We've done some interviews before, and you always give so much value to our readers and listeners, and I really appreciate you being here. You are definitely one of the most successful business coaching firm builders that I know. And I know a lot of people in this industry as you do. And so I really appreciate your time, your willingness to share. And I'm really excited because it's been a number of months since we have done one of these interviews together. And I know you're in rapid growth mode right now in a couple of the parts of your business. So your story is really exciting. Really appreciate you sharing today. So, hey, let's start with a couple facts that people who don't know you probably should know about you before we get too deep into it. And then we'll get into a discussion on your business coaching firm best practices, especially in the area of marketing. So, for those of you who don't know you, Terri, a little bit about your business background before you started your business coaching firm.
Sure. I started out in my formal life as a speech-language pathologist, and that basically is a fancy word for speech therapist. And when I came out of college with my master's degree, I opened my own speech clinic. I had no idea how to market, and I had to learn how to do that. It became a very, very successful practice. I then sold that and started a home art show company, became successful and sold that. Then I went the corporate route. I was vice president of marketing for a company, and then I was president of a national healthcare company until I got fed up with healthcare. And then I became a full-time coaching consultant.
You know, that is such an amazing background. One of the things I've always been impressed with whenever we talk, Terri, is that you lived the life of a business owner before you ever presumed to teach it. You know, I love that. And you went through the hard knocks of building a couple businesses on your own, selling them, and really learning the lessons in the trenches. Then you went and worked in corporate, so you get that. You've run profit centers. One of the things I talk about, in my $1 Million Business Coaching Firm book is some of the qualifications that make for a great coach, and you've got them all. You really do. So amazing story. So transition with us then. In what year did you start your business coaching firm? Where are you located right now? How did you transition into this era of your life?
Well, I literally was fed up with healthcare. I met a coach, never had heard of coaching. As soon as I met the coach and she told me what she did, I went, that's what I'm supposed to do. And within a few weeks, I quit my full-time job and started my coaching firm in 1998. And I'm personally located outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but my business is international, and I have independent contractors all around the world.
Amazing. So 15 years, if my math is right, that you've been in this business. And congratulations. That's an incredible amount of staying power. There are very few business coaches that I know of that have been in the business making a really good living in the business coaching industry for as long as you have. So very impressive. So, we're going to talk more about your coaches and your business in a minute, but you mentioned international, you mentioned some associate coaches that you've brought on. And so tell us, what are a couple of the growth milestones that you've achieved over the years, these 15 years in your business coaching firm? What are some of the growth milestones you're most proud of?
Oh, wow. Thanks for asking. Interestingly enough, one of them was what I would consider almost accidental. I had 30 clients within 30 days of quitting my job.
Wow.
Which I'm going to say to you, Eric, maybe isn't such a great thing because it's too many clients. In my later experience, I realized that, but it was very easy and effortless for me to get clients, to have a waiting list of clients, and to, from that point on, never looked back and never needed to hunt for clients. And I really didn't have a database. There wasn't really internet marketing per se back then. It was very, very different. So I'm very proud of literally having shared what I was doing with enough people that they became interested and said they'd like to hire me. So my business built very quickly. And as a part of that, in that first year, I just really got into coaching because I wanted to do it. I really didn't care about making money. I'd been there, done that in corporate America. I had the fancy cars and I had the stock options and all the big salaries, and I wasn't interested in that anymore. However, at the end of year one, when I sat down with my accountant, he said, wow, we didn't take out near enough in your taxes. And he was going through things, and I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. And he said, well, you did right under 500,000. I'm like, what? So I thought that was a really good start for year one.
Yeah.
But I am telling people I worked literally, if a client said I can only talk to you at 3 a.m, I was there. So it was a very difficult year. So I'm proud to have gotten through that year, to have built my business quickly, and then to have been able to propel the business shortly after that to be $1 million and beyond business so that I could give back to a foundation that I've established for children with a disease called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. And I'll just add, there's 2 other milestones. I didn't realize I had so many, but I will share a couple.
Awesome.
We have now graduated our 5,000 student. Number 5,000 just graduated from our coach training school at the Coaching Institute. I'm real proud of that. And for my website, we were collecting how many industries my business growth system has worked with, and it's almost 240 different industries. So
wow.
I'm proud of all of those things.
And you should be. Congratulations. 5,000 students through the Institute. Is that the Coaching Institute, coachinginstitute.com?
It is.
Okay, yeah,
it is.
Congratulations. 5,000 students trained in your methodology. And I'll tell you, any business coach who can come out of the gates, put on 30 clients in 30 days is doing something very special. And we'll talk more about how you've done all that. But 240 industries over these years, just beautiful. You've kind of already maybe mentioned it, but is there anything else that was challenging as you grew your firm in the first year or two? And, anything else you want to share that might encourage other coaches who are getting going in the first year or so?
Yes, let me share a couple of things. One of the things that got in my way, and I noticed this with coaches, is the law of attraction. I was told and led to believe that if I just focused on and felt good about clients showing up, that, my phone would ring. And I had to ignore that because the law of attraction without action doesn't make your phone ring if nobody has the number or knows what you do. So that was one challenge, is to understand the law of attraction, but in a more powerful way to understand the power of giving for the sake of giving and allowing people to find me if I resonated with them. The other thing, and I kind of stated it before, is I literally had too many clients. I knew that. I'll share a funny story. I knew that when I had a Linda and a Linda, I still remember this, on a Thursday afternoon. One Linda was a nurse and one was a teacher. And when the first Linda called, I couldn't remember which Linda I was speaking with. And that was it. I said, this is ridiculous. You can't coach 30 people. So that was kind of challenging, is figuring out what is the ideal number and what does that look like. And I had one other pretty big decision initially, and that was whether or not to be a solopreneur or to have a partner. And I tried to have a partner. She's a wonderful lady, a smart lady, and we had fun together, but I realized that for me, I'm a bit of a control freak, to say it mildly, and I really wanted to own my own company. So that's something that I think you have to really know as you develop your business.
Boy, so rich. Thank you for all of that. I also had a partner in my first year or two, and again, great guy and all that, but we ended up parting ways. It was so interesting that you mentioned that. I don't even think I knew that part of your story, but it is so important.
No, I don't think I've ever shared that with you.
Yeah. So important for there to be one person who's in charge and one person who can set the vision. And not that partnerships can't work, but sometimes they don't. So that's an amazing part of your story. But the law of attraction without action will leave people broke. And I think it's fascinating that you mentioned that you went through a period of time where you really had to settle that issue in your own mind. Is there anything else you can say about that, just to help coaches, who maybe just need to actually get out in the street and get more action going.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with selling. And if you're going to own your own business, you either believe that or you go get a job, a job, and you work for somebody else. Because the truth is, you have to always be marketing your business all of the time. And that doesn't mean doing things that aren't authentic or aren't in integrity. My model, I wrote a book about it called Sell Without Selling. My model is just to be in integrity, to be authentic, to not make promises that you can't keep, and just to almost use a technique that's referred to as reverse marketing, which is just giving value, giving value, giving value. And I'm not saying giving complimentary sessions. I'm saying just give away your best expertise, your best knowledge, white papers, webinars, teleseminars, whatever it is. Be willing to share for the sake of assisting others, and just asking a very simple question: where do we go from here? And allowing the potential client to be in the driver's seat. If business coaches just followed that action, they would be super successful right out of the gate, is my belief.
I agree with you. I love how relaxed you feel, to me, even in just saying that, selling without selling. And, I remember the phrase, learn to sell or you're going to end up working for someone who can.
That's true, yes.
But I like the way you said it. It's just give, and then just trust the process. You're selling without doing the old embarrassing and grotesque kind of selling things that so many people equate with the word selling. And so you've been amazing. So let's talk a little bit more about what it is that you sell. I think you've mentioned in the past you've got a few product or service lines that you sell. Why don't you unpack those, and then we'll talk about how you market those and bring the clients in specifically.
Sure. So I'll just back up and say that I learned after that first year that it wasn't a good thing to have such a huge stable of clients unless I wanted to work nonstop and I was really right back at having a job and I wasn't giving enough value to my clients. So I sat back and I said, how can I set up my business so it gives me what I want as an entrepreneur and I can walk my talk and I can have freedom and family time and time to devote to my charity foundation, and at the same time be of the highest service to those that I can help. And then my final question was, really two, and to impact more people because I could only coach a certain amount, and to make it affordable for the masses. So I came up with a model that has really worked for me extremely well. I've been using it probably for about 6 years. And the first part of my model, I established a VIP coaching program. And I know a lot of people have that model. I do this out of selfishness. I love seeing my clients and being with them. I know a lot of people like to do things on the phone or other ways. I like to touch somebody, feel somebody, to be on site at their business or for them to be on site at my office. So in my VIP model, I spend a day on site with a company or they come to my offices. It's their choice. It's a little bit more for me to go to them, of course. And in that day, we bang out, I'm a guerrilla marketing expert, we bang out their guerrilla marketing plan, we bang out their 12-month calendar, we bang out all the top strategies and tactics. I've got a list of over 200 no and low-cost strategies, and I literally map it out quarter by quarter, month by month, and even day by day. So by the end of our time together, they have a model that they can embrace. It's customized just for them. And then if they would like to have email follow-up to do touch base, or they want to talk to me or one of my associates, which I'm sure we'll talk about, that's what that looks like. But the VIP model is literally they're getting Terri Levine. So I only take a few clients a year in that program.
Beautiful.
The next model that I set up, because the VIP one was more of my time, more of my creative energy, therefore I had to charge more and took less people. I wanted to do a model where I could take a lot of people and make it affordable for the masses, plus where I could create passive income streams in a way that it could be evergreen. If I should happen to leave planet Earth, which I'm not expecting to do, I would like to know that I've created something that can still help people, because being a business coach, I'm still about helping people in a long-term way. So I set up a virtual coaching program on my website, Terri Levine, and I spent 2 years setting that up, creating videos and audios and worksheets and templates so that a business owner literally could pay a very inexpensive amount per month and get virtually coached through a system that's delivered as what a lot of you will call a membership site. So that's my very inexpensive, if I can call it a group model, but it's really virtual coaching. And then the third piece that I do is a mastermind model. And again, this is a little bit selfish on my part. I totally love being with people. And so I bring in once a quarter various clients. They pay for a mastermind for 2 days with me and my other business growth consultants. And we work with those business owners. We coach them, mentor them, and consult with them. And they leave with our business growth system program in place.
So good.
Hi, welcome to my site.
That is really helpful. So we've got the VIP coaching, which is your premier package. We've got the virtual coaching, which is kind of do-it-yourself learning, kind of for the smaller clients, and then the mastermind, which is an intensive, I think you said 2 days, right? And
yes, it's 2 days, and they're invited to 2 days every quarter. Most of them come to 2 a year on average, not every quarter.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it. It suits you. It fits your lifestyle. It's great. So let's talk a little bit about marketing. You know, what are some of the things that are really working for you in marketing, any or all of these products?
Well, what I started with, initially to get 30 clients in 30 days is still what I do today. Nothing has changed because it works. It works. It works. It works. The first thing that I did was I started writing. I started writing articles. I started writing letters to the editor. I did press releases. At the time, I had no copywriting experience. I do now. At the time, I'd never written a book. I have 17 books now. And I use all of my writing as a marketing vehicle. At the time, there really weren't even a lot of e-zines. There weren't a lot of places online where you could submit articles. And now I do this on a regular basis. I continue to write. I primarily give away my books. I primarily give away what I write. Again, it's coming from integrity. Let me share my best ideas, and if they resonate, people will figure out a way to contact me. And if not, then it wasn't the right thing for them. So writing is the first thing that I use, and probably one of the most attractive things that I do. So whether you write a special report, a top 10 list, an ebook, a Kindle book, it doesn't matter what you write, but I do recommend writing. The next thing that I did was I offered to do speaking, and at the time I'd never been a paid speaker. I had spoken to start even my speech pathology business. I'd offered to speak, and I literally just offered to speak anywhere and everywhere. And my sort of embarrassing story is that I volunteered to speak at a Whole Foods grocery store my first year. And I got there, and there was a big poster of me, and I thought, oh, they did such a good job of marketing this. And I said, well, where am I speaking? And they said, in aisle 14. And I thought, well, aisle 14 must, have tables and chairs. Well, it had nothing. They put me in front of the canned vegetables, and that's where I spoke. And one of my things about that is a client that I got from that speaking engagement over the years paid me about $23,000, but even more importantly, referred me to 2 very large pharmaceutical companies. So I believe in speaking wherever you can speak, literally. The next thing is to give away a lot of valuable information in another form, because some people like to read, some people like to listen. So when I started back in the day, that was on cassette tapes. Nowadays, it would be DVDs, CDs, MP3s, just give away. Nothing that sells, but things that inform and that educate, so that people really get to see that you're the credible expert. And then the things that I use today are my websites for lead generation. I give away lots and lots and lots of value and assessments and free courses. And from that, people sort themselves and decide if they're interested. And then I do a lot of webinars that are free, teleseminars, telesummits, interviews like today, just sharing for the sake of sharing. And those are the things that I recommend to this day that business coaches and consultants use.
So good to hear you say all that. I'm sure you hear coaches like I do wonder about how good of an idea it is to give stuff away. And what you said is, look, I just give and give and give. Writing, articles, letters, press releases, 17 books. How amazing is that? 17 books over the last 15 years. Speaking, information giveaways, educational things of all kinds, webinars, seminars. And that's it. And then, of course, I'm sure referrals is another big piece of it too, isn't it, for you?
Referrals is huge, and that just comes naturally. If you really do what you say you're going to do, don't overpromise, you're authentic, you're in integrity, you have a guarantee, you honor that guarantee, you don't even have to ask for referrals. You'll get them. You'll get testimonials. I'm more a fan, by the way, of people getting naturally referred than constantly asking for referrals, and I'm more a fan of putting on a website who your clients are that can be contacted versus putting up raving testimonials, because, of course, what else would you put up there but raving testimonials? You wouldn't put a bad client experience. Mm-hmm. So those are also important things that I wanted to share.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. So you've grown, the business has grown, and now you're developing a team of associate business coaches. So talk to me about the decision to expand beyond yourself, which is a big decision. Start bringing on associate coaches. Why did you do that? When did you do that? Talk a little bit about that transition.
So that was a huge decision for me, huge. And what happened is I kept having a waiting list of clients. And there were certain clients and certain projects that I would have loved to have taken on, but I was too busy, and I really felt like the client shouldn't wait, so I would refer them to somebody else. And one day, and this is probably 4 or 5 years ago, I was giving a seminar, a live seminar, and there happened to be another business coach who came to watch the seminar, and she literally came rushing up to me on the break and said, I want to share your methodology. I like what you've created. I want to be, I think she said, a Terri Levine consultant. And I'm like, what? Like, I didn't even know what she was talking about. And she really inspired me and made me think, what am I good at? Well, I'm very good at writing. I'm very good at speaking. And I'm very good at what I call making rain. In other words, attracting the right people without selling. And at the same time, I'd made a great deal of money in the coaching industry and really didn't need to make money for myself at this point. Business has been very, very good to me, and I wanted to give back to other coaches. There are so many great, fantastic business coaches, but they're struggling. And I thought, wow, if I could bring them into the fold and nurture them and embrace them and mentor them, then together we could take on more clients and serve more people. So that's how it was born.
That has got to be the most refreshing answer to that question I have ever heard in my life. The question, why did you start bringing on associate coaches? Honestly, I mean, if I can be honest, I like that answer even better than my own answer to the question. Honestly, my own answer to the question is I brought on associate coaches because I was starting to burn out, and I didn't want to, ruin my business. But I like your answer better. You had a waiting list. You were too busy. I've said, and I say this in my $1 Million Business Coaching Firm book, look, hey, the best time to bring on coaches is when you're too busy to take any more work on yourself. There's so many people that set out and start trying to bring on coaches before they have enough work for themselves, and then instead of having a struggle to feed one mouth, you've got to struggle to feed two. But you did the exact opposite, which is the right thing to do, which is you got yourself so busy that you couldn't do anything else, and then it was not coming from a place of desperation. You weren't out trying to sell an underdeveloped, unproven, untested system for huge amounts of money. You weren't doing any of that. You just said, I've got abundance, true abundance, more money and clients than I can handle on my own. I don't need to go for some big strike of cash. I want to bring on other coaches. I like the language you use. Nurture, help develop them. Something so healthy, Terri, about the way you went about that, and stands in contrast to so much that goes on in our industry. I just want to say and point out, and I want to commend what you're doing to anybody who's listening to this. That if you're tired of being alone, this is the kind of person you should be aligning with, frankly. So anyway, I didn't mean to turn into a pitch fest for you, but I've been in this business for 10 years, not quite as long as you have, but I've seen so much, and I appreciate so much the way you're doing this. So, okay, you must have along the way created some coaching methods and materials that your coaches could use to get results, right? And that has birthed the Coaching Institute. Can you say a little bit about how you made it possible for it? I like what this gal said. I want to be a Terri Levine consultant. So what did you do? And this could be instructive to coaches who may be listening to this and are doing very well and also want to do what you've done. I want to do what Terri Levine's done, what Eric's done. Build a firm. How do you package up what you're doing? How did you package up what you're doing and make it useful to coaches?
Well, it really has two answers. The first thing that was born in my business was the Coaching Institute, and I never had any desire to train coaches. It wasn't on my radar screen. I was coaching. My clients were getting results. I loved it. And friends and family and former colleagues were coming to me and saying, teach me to do what you do. And I would say, well, here's like the top 5 coach training schools. Go to one. And they'd come back and say, no, I want you to teach me. So with the Coaching Institute, that was literally born out of hiring some of the best coaches on the planet and having different ones write materials that they were experts in to train coaches in. So one might have a module about conflict resolution, another might have one about how to get to the truth in teams, and I had all the marketing material. So the Coaching Institute was literally born of people asking for training and of me personally being dissatisfied in general with coach training programs because while they taught coaching skills and were very, very good at that, and they still are, they really didn't teach people how to have $1 million business. And in most cases, the people teaching the $1 million business stuff didn't have $1 million business. So I really wanted to teach the marketing in a way that it was in integrity and would really help coaches. So that got born. And then several years ago when I said, okay, I want to bring on people to use my business system, I decided that I would write down and dissect every single thing I did with clients for about a 2-year period. So I really took the best of the best coaching and consulting that I do. I took years of expenses of all the seminars I went to, books I read, mentors I hired, programs I took, my own time, my own energy, and an awful lot of money to figure out how to dissect everything I learned and then put it together in terms of what I did as a coaching process and then in a format where I could teach it to other people so they could replicate and duplicate my success. So I really had 2 different things that got born, the Coaching Institute and the Business Growth System.
So it sounds like the Coaching Institute was a lot of writers and business coaching practitioners who came and you've kind of put together a potpourri of best practices, if I'm understanding you right.
Yes.
And then this other system that you developed is really born out of 2 years of deliberately dissecting what you've done that's made you successful as a practicing career business coach, right?
Yes, correct. And the only thing I'll add is at the Coaching Institute, we also, over the years, designed it for aspiring coaches so that we were trying to make sure that we met needs of current coaches, but we didn't want to leave out people who really could bring a gift to the profession.
Got it. I got it, and I love it. And, one of the other things I just want to point out here is your system, born of a woman who has been herself extremely very successful as a business coach, and then turn it into a system. I mean, how much value is that? And again, there are so many things that I think, as you said, that are being sold by people who've never even used it themselves to do anything even worth replicating. And so what you've done stands in contrast to that, which I think is so amazing. Okay, so that's wonderful. Now let's talk about your associate coaches. You have some associate coaches now, I think, working with you, for you, in your firm. They're using your system. So tell me a little about what are your associate coaches loving about being on your team, and how are they doing, and what's their experience as part of the Terri team, as it were.
Well, I'm just adding, even since you and I spoke recently, I'm just adding 2 more to the team because we brought on some more new clients, and I've spent several months interviewing and found 2 fabulous people. But when I ask the coaches, why are you on this journey with me? They all tell me that they personally never liked to do marketing, or, the word nobody likes to use, selling. And again, I love the word. And that they had their own firms. Some of them had firms for 10 years. And while they were making money, they weren't making what they really wanted to make, not serious, quote, big money. They also didn't have a system. They would get on phone calls or in person, and it was more of, if you did know the answer, what would the answer be? Or other questions of that sort. And clients would be like, I'm paying you an awful lot of money. I expect answers. So they were really confused about what they could guarantee, what kind of results they were getting. Did they have a proven methodology? And when I've asked them, what do you like about being part of the business growth system? They say, I've given them a proven methodology. It has over 30 years of experience. I've taught them everything that they need. There's nothing they have to think about or question. I'm literally there to help them. So if they need assistance with a client, or to go over something in the method, or they want me to help get involved and perhaps embrace a client with them, I do that. So they feel surrounded by expertise and proven results. And the final thing that I'll say is they truly love being part of a team. We meet, we collaborate, we have fun, we talk on the phone, and I'm always here for them. They have access to my personal cell phone number. Nobody abuses it, but we've built pretty deep friendships. It's a lot of camaraderie and not just sitting alone by yourself behind a computer trying to attract clients. I think that's what they love, Eric.
Well, I know I love even the sound of it. It's amazing. I mean, there are a lot of people out there, as you know, selling opportunities, business opportunities to get into coaching, and all promise and talk a good game, but what you're talking about and what you're building is really the thing that people are really looking for. So what have you learned about hiring, bringing on associate coaches? What have you learned about doing it well?
The first thing that I learned is that you really have to work with people who have some experience. I tried one person in the very beginning who wasn't experienced, and I thought, I can give her a shot and I can really get her going. And the truth is that really wasn't a good business model. A better business model is taking people who have some years of experience. They've been there, done that. They've worked with clients, and they understand what it's like in the real world, not just, what will it be like when I have clients. The second thing is people need to be a little bit thick-skinned. They need to be, I guess, what I'll call mature or thick-skinned. They need to be able to take feedback from a client, from me, from another team member, and just breathe it in and observe it and detach from it, and really see how they can utilize it. Because every day I learn from my clients. Every day I learn from the business coaches and consultants. And you have to be open to that that learning. I guess there's one other thing that I would say. Not only do they have to love being a business coach or consultant, they have to want to give back and not just be in this for the money. I'm not in this for the money, and I want to work with people who aren't in it for the money. That's not to say I don't embrace money and enjoy money, and I'm glad I can provide money for my family, and more importantly for me really is my foundation. But all of my consultants that have made it really, really big have a common theme. They love consulting and coaching, and they have a deep, deep commitment to want to share coaching and consulting and really do it for other people in a way that's honest and in integrity, and they really are very giving. So those are the lessons that I hired, not to take newbies, not to take people who couldn't take criticism, and not to take people who were just in it for, let me make some bucks. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's so great. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Looking for people experienced. It sounds like experienced in business for starters, but then even beyond that, experienced in servicing business owners as a coach or consultant. So you're looking for experience, and then having the right kind of personality or psychometric profile or whatever, thick-skinned, self-confident, and willing to be, iron sharpening iron, really helping each other grow. And here again, I want to point out, it's fascinating that your experience has taught you that. I've been talking about this with business coaching firm builders for a long time, that if you want an associate coach to be successful, they have to have the right psychometric profile, which gets at some of the stuff you were talking about, being able to respond appropriately in interpersonal interactions that may be a little hard. But also needing someone with real experience in business. Just real good in the trenches experience running businesses, and then some capabilities in interacting in a business-to-business kind of interaction, and particularly in sales, but then just working with business owners. So I think there's a lot of overlap with what I've learned and what you've learned in the process, and I'm hoping that our listeners are getting a ton of value, especially the ones that are either wanting to join a firm or wanting to build one. But there's just such value in what you're sharing here, so I thank you very much for it. Now, well, let's talk a little bit about the future. Tell me, I guess. Let's start with this. What are you enjoying most about this process of adding associate coaches to your firm? And then let's talk about where you're taking it, your growth plans, and where you're headed.
Sure. And I do love what I'm doing right now. It's evolved into absolutely what's perfect for me. I'm still hands-on with some clients, and I think that's really important. I think that if you own your own coaching firm, you need to know what's going on. You need to be relevant and doing something with clients. So I love that. I still enjoy that aspect, but it's not a lot of clients. It's just the clients that I really feel I can serve, or that the consultants need some help with, or the coaches. Second, I love being able to literally mentor and share everything I know about coaching, consulting, personal development, personal growth, you name it, with the consultants and the coaches. I love doing that. I feel like we've become a close-knit group, a close family, and seeing them become successful is one of my greatest joys. When they're striking home runs, and just the other day I had 2 emails in the same day about one of the consultants and their clients, and actually I had 3, come to think of it, about how wonderful it was to be working with what we call a lead consultant or coach, how fabulous the person was with real specifics, completely unsolicited testimonial that just is all kudos to that coach consultant. And that's what I love. I love the joy of getting to see them grow and do great things in the world. And for me, I love developing them. And I also have really grown fond of sitting in the chair looking outside of my business and stepping into, okay, Terri, you run a coaching firm. You need to step outside of the things that you were doing and be sort of the Steve Jobs or the Bill Gates of the world, looking at the big picture, the big vision, and that creatively juices me. So I really, all those aspects, I get so jazzed talking about it there. I love, love, love owning a coaching firm and being able to work with extraordinary coaches and consultants.
Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. I mean, it's music to my ears. Thank you. That's just so amazing. And, I'm thinking about the past 10 years in the business coaching industry, the clients I've coached, and just thinking, how great would life be, or how much better would life be for coaches coming into the business, if they were able to get their start in this business, working in the kind of supportive, nurturing, I'm sure hard charging and high achievement kind of environment, but most of all the environment you've created, which is really genuinely caring about the success of your coaches. So well done. So let's talk a little bit about where you're going. So you're going to be adding some more coaches this year, I assume, to keep up with the growth and consume the demand that your marketing has created. Where are you taking all this, this coming year and even beyond?
Well, I do have a vision literally for the next 10 years, and I would like to bring on some more coaches. I would like to bring on coaches and do something a little different with them that I'm pretty excited about. First of all, certainly is to train them in the process, give them the proven system, all the tools, everything they need to work with the clients. And then as we get our client base, to share the clients with them as I have and allow them to coach the firm's clients. But in addition to that, recently I've made the decision that I will also allow those coaches to get business on their own. So if they meet with somebody who's a landscaper and they talk about the business growth system and that person says, hey, that'd be really cool, I really like to do that, they will actually be able to do that through their own company or their own firm as well. They don't always have to do it under the umbrella of my company. So that's a big change that I've just come up with literally in the last probably 4 days, that I'm going to help those coaches market the business growth system in their practice. And I don't 100% know what that looks like, but I do know that some of these folks over time would probably really like to be solopreneurs, and this will allow them to do that.
So great. So great. Well, it occurs to me that, there are going to be people listening to this call that are thinking, might be good for me to reach out to Terri and explore the possibility of getting connected in some way. So, where would people go to reach out to you? I have a couple of your websites open here in front of me, but how would people reach out if they wanted to learn more about what you're building?
Sure. The best email, my personal email, is Terri, Terri, at Terri Levine, Levine.com. Terri at terrilevine.com. Those don't get triaged to anybody else. They come directly to me. And just tell me a little bit about what you're thinking, what you heard that resonates. And I freely will spend some time with you to see if this opportunity fits, if it's good for you, not good for you, and or to direct you to something else in the world of coaching and the coaching industry that might be a better fit. So I'm happy to give away some of my time to fellow coaches along the journey, and that's just, again, my way of giving back. So Terri at terrilevine.com.
Great. So I have it up on the screen here, Terri at terrilevine.com. If you like what Terri's building and you think it might be good to connect with her in some way, Terri at terrilevine.com. Wow. I really value so much what you've shared. Anything else you want to share just by way of parting words of wisdom and insight for coaches who are either building firms, they've been successful like you, want to add coaches, or coaches who are interested in the possibility of doing something with you? Anything else you want to add?
Yes, thank you for the question, Eric. First of all, if it resonates with you to have your own coaching firm, before you jump into that, be successful on your own. Really make sure that not only do you know how to grow a business, but that you would be able to continuously grow a business, because other coaches or consultants do rely on you. So you need to have a process in place, whether you have salespeople or it's you that's, as I call it, making rain. You've got to know that you've got enough for other coaches. and that you also have a process or a system and a way of training, and you want to spend time doing that with other people. It's very time consuming, in my experience. So you have to, in my view, be successful in your own right, and also, therefore, people will want to follow. And the second thing is, I just say to people, if there's an iota, I mean a tiny little piece of you that says, maybe it would be kind of cool to work with a coaching firm, and they want to talk about that or talk about my coaching firm or methodology or anything, don't sit around using the law of attraction. Sit around taking action. So do something, whether it's contact me or contact somebody that resonates with you. Just do something. Otherwise, again, this information has become shelf help. It's not doing anything for you. So take something that you heard today that resonates and take an action with it.
Good parting words. I love what you said about, hey, it's a big responsibility taking on coaches, so make sure you're in a good position to do that so that you can responsibly steward the lives of the people you gather around you. And I also love the, take action. If you're resonating with what Terri has to say, Terri at terrilevine.com is her email address. Reach out, and you'll be glad you did. So I think with that, we're going to call it a wrap. Terri, thank you again. You are amazing.
Oh, thank you. It's always a joy.
Yeah, you're one of my favorite business coaches on the planet, and I appreciate you so much. So with that, thank you, everybody, for joining us again today for the $1 Million Business Coaching Firm interview series today with Terri Levine.